near you and purchase a voucher today. Then prepare to send your child back to school this fall in classroom to a school that you can trust. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Enjoy the energizing power of the outdoors. We recommend a mid-morning break in nature, so get outside and make your morning break better with a Nature Valley granola bar.
7:37. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time and Jim.
In LaGrange, Ogden Avenue is blocked between North Spring and Viola for crash investigation. You're looking at DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Southbound traffic's very heavy. Michigan Avenue to Chicago Avenue, it's 19 minutes. Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound 12 minutes. Marquette to Monroe with congestion in the Grant Park area. Inbound Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. The Eisenhower, 49 minutes, 390 to downtown, 33 from Wolf, outbound 31 minutes to 390. There's a crash at Harlem on the left side. Stevenson, 36 minutes from the Veterans Memorial Tollway to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. The ride is 23 minutes from 95th to downtown, outbound 12. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. We'll have sunshine today. Pleasant, high near 80. Clear to partly cloudy and 63 overnight. Currently, 64. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
Mike Madigan runs the Democratic House floor for 30-plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Dan, and in for Amy this morning is former State Representative Jeannie Ives, and that intro music means it's time for our weekly conversation with Ted Dabrowski, president of wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. And let's start with this survey from Wallet Hub. Wallet Hub compared the operating efficiency of 150 of the largest U.S. cities to reveal which among them are managed best. They constructed a quality of services score made up of 38 metrics, grouped into 6 service categories, and then measured those services in those 6 service categories against the city's per capita budget. Largest cities, 150 of the country's largest cities. Let's see, looking through here. I'm trying to find Chicago, not in the first 21, not the second 25. All right, at 100, still not there. Looking for it. Anything in Illinois? No.
Aurora.
Our big cities, Aurora.
Aurora made it. Naperville didn't.
Where's Aurora ranked?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aurora's on the list. Naperville's not.
Well, Chicago's on the list too,
Yes.
but it comes in at 141 out of 140, out of 150, 140 out of 150. Just edges out, I should say, Gary, Indiana. So that's the good news. Hey, we're not Gary. Put that on. Financial stability, education, health, safety, economy, infrastructure, and pollution. These were the metrics categories. And Chicago just edged out by Cleveland. We're coming for you, Cleveland. And ahead of Gary, Toledo, Memphis, Hartford, Stockton, Flint, Shreveport, Jackson, Mississippi, St. Louis, and Detroit. Detroit rounding out the 150 at 150. Things are going pretty well. For more on this, pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Ted Dabrowski. Ted, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Jeannie.
Good morning.
Were you surprised that, again, against these categories: financial stability, education, health, safety, economy, infrastructure, and pollution. We find Chicago, one of the great international cities, ranked 140th out of 150, well behind Aurora. Illinois actually comes in at 35th.
Well, I don't think it's a surprise at all, and I think we could have done that study for cheaper than Wallet Hub probably did it. You look at the Loop, and the Loop is awesome. We talk about this all the time, and not right now, but pre-pandemic, it was booming. It was wonderful. You could have thought that Chicago was the most effective, efficient, popular city in the country. But just go a little bit outside the Loop, and you start to see the differences, especially when you start talking about the middle income, lower income areas, and it's a disaster. You look at crime, you look at schools, you look at job opportunities. It's no surprise to me, and it's sad, but it's true.
Oh, you know what? I was looking at the broken out score, the overall score.
Right, I think you had that wrong.
Chicago's behind. Chicago's ahead of Cleveland, so we got you,
it's
Cleveland.
Like fifth from the bottom or something.
We're 141.
Okay, 141.
Overall.
Okay.
I was looking at the quality of city services rank. When you include the total budget per capita rank, we bump up ahead of Cleveland, which is good news. So it's Chicago, Cleveland, Flint, Oakland, Detroit, Gulfport, Mississippi, Chattanooga, New York, San Francisco, D.C. That makes more sense, roping in those other big cities, New York, San Francisco, and D.C., rounding out the bottom 7 of the 150. But we're coming for you, Hartford, Connecticut. We're on Hartford, Connecticut's heels. Yeah, so that's good.
It's depressing when you think about all the money that we spend. And, again, we talk about it all the time, the highest property taxes in the country, some of the highest combined sales income and property taxes in the country. It's all about failed management, and we know the story behind that. It's not just in Chicago, of course; it's in all the big major cities. But I think we're just the best at doing it bad.
Yeah, but honestly, Ted, I don't even know why we're on that list at all. We know the educational statistics in the city of Chicago. If we're not at the bottom, boy, there's a lot of other cities that are doing really bad. 25% of the kids read and do math at grade level.
Yeah, you look at those grade level performances. And you're talking about a quarter of the kids. It depends on which grades and all that, but you're talking about anywhere from 20 to 40% of the kids are at grade level, and the rest aren't. And you think about that. You think about the kids who can read in third grade, and the kids who can't. And if you can't read in third grade, then you can't learn the rest of your career. So it's again, sad statistic.
Governor Pritzker, he's the governor of the state of Illinois. He signed legislation that requires local officials to end partnerships with immigration and customs enforcement, strengthening the Trust Act, which is great news that we're going to allow for illegal immigrants into Illinois, no questions asked, and no law enforcement shall intercede, because we got to replace all the college-bound high school seniors who are leaving.
That's been happening for decades. If you look at the Illinois Chicago statistics, and we're talking about Chicago not doing well, the only reason Chicago grew is that as whites left, we had huge inflow of Hispanics, and Hispanics are what kept the population from collapsing even more. We would have started to look more like a Detroit collapse over time if you ever look at those statistics over time. And it's that, but unfortunately, we're replacing very productive college-educated kids with immigrants who are, of course, many of them are trying to produce, but they're certainly not going to have the same capacity to produce as our lost college students.
Well, and the other thing, too, of course, is when you don't make distinctions between the law-abiding and the non-law-abiding when it comes to people in this country illegally, you have tragedies like what happened, one we've profiled here, Denny McCann, who was killed in a hit and run on the streets of Chicago, and then that person fled to their home country, never to be heard from again. And that's not justice for the McCann family. It's not justice for other families who've been victimized by people who shouldn't be here, who commit acts of violence.
Like Jeannie Brady out of Urbana.
Yeah, there's another one.
Yeah, we talk about the absurdity of that, and that's for sure. But I think, if you go on the more macro scale, what's amazing is that we can't take care, and this goes back to the previous point we're talking about with Wallet Hub. We can't take care of the very people that we already have here, right? We can't get them to read at grade level. We can't get the incomes up. We got, the statistic before the pandemic and maybe a couple of years before that, before Trump, was that 50% of all 24-year-olds and under were either unemployed or didn't go to school. So you're talking about massive failure. And yet at the same time, we're going to allow many, many more people, many of them who are poor, who don't have college degrees, who don't have the skill set. We're going to let them come in. And so we're just diluting any chance we have at helping our the people who need the help the most or who need to get up the ladder. We're just hurting them. That's it.
We try to find some silver linings in this godforsaken state. It's tough to find silver linings when you refer to it as godforsaken state. I understand. But Neutral Neighbors, this organization you're a part of up there in the North Shore, which is just basically, parents, families getting together to try to hold their local governments more accountable, pushing candidates to run for school board and village offices and so on and so forth, just being more active and engaged in the community so it doesn't completely careen off the rails into the wilderness. And I understand that you're starting to get imitation, which is the sincerest form of flattery, that some other parents, people, not political, it's not Republican, Democrat, it's just coming together to form their own sort of neighbors groups up on the North Shore too. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, so I'm a board member of the Neutral Neighbors, and so I know a little bit of what's happening there. And just the important point is this, in all these school districts around here, we're spending $25,000, close to $30,000 a student.
It's almost as much as CPS.
That's exactly. And yet we're getting things shoved down our throats, whether it's critical race theory or different sex education curriculum, or you've got books with explicit sex we have to read, our kids have to read. We're pushing back against that. And so, people are seeing that. And we've had some other North Shore groups call us and say, hey, we'd like to replicate what you're doing because, we like how you're communicating. We like that you're engaged. We like that you're showing up at board meetings. We like how you're arguing, but in a reasoned, professional way, but assertively. And so it's really neat to see replication of that. And, if we can replicate groups across the state that stand up for ordinary parents who are tired of being, having things shoved down their throat, it's fantastic. And we met with a group of parents, and I loved it because we went to their home. A whole bunch of people were there, and they're saying we've had enough. We want to push back, and so it's exciting to see.
Well, Ted, we're trying. There's a real movement in the western suburbs to do the same, and there's a huge group really getting active. And believe it or not, Glen Ellen, which it is hard to believe because they have literally a Marxist school board president, Bruno, on D41, but D87's a mess too. And just a week or two ago, the parents got up and in arms at the school board meeting to no effect, unfortunately. But their big problem, the 50% grading level, right? So you turn in nothing, you still get 50% for your grade. And then the other thing is the academic honesty policy as well, which essentially Glen Ellen D87 is now going to a place where, so what, you plagiarize on a paper, we're not really going to do anything about it.
It's fascinating. Look, we pay the 8th most for education in the country when you adjust for cost of living. We pay the 8th most in the country for our public schools in Illinois. And for that, we're getting rejection for so many things that parents want. And when you kind of come back to this whole COVID discussion you guys have been having this morning, the big discussion is mental health, and it should be mental health. And when you combine what Jeannie just said about the grading, when you combine the destruction of mental health, I think this is going to be one of the biggest lessons we had from COVID is that we, the adults, didn't get out of the way to help our kids thrive. And we're going to create, if we haven't done it already, we're creating a whole generation of kids who are going to struggle to operate because we're creating such a weird environment for them that it's hard to figure out how they're going to figure out.
Well, we're creating an environment of no consequences at an early enough age where they can learn from their mistakes. That is the problem here.
Well, there's so many. That's one. Two is that, think about these kids who are, 5 years old wearing masks, or 4 years old, or 3 years old, and they can't see the visual, the expressions of people and how to read clues of what's coming at them. They're not going to know.
It's child
you
abuse.
Can't have kids grow up that way.
It's child abuse, and I'm not afraid to say it on air.
Well, we got to get to one other issue too. I mean, it's clearly the civil rights issue of our time, and thankfully, we have a former governor that's willing to take up the fight. I'm talking about Martin Luther King Blagojevich and the fight to allow convicted felons to run for state office. Rod Blagojevich filing suit because, what happened to him, being impeached and removed from office, is unconstitutional, so he says, and people should have the right to vote for whoever they want, including convicted felons. And what's wrong with that?
Well, you have to remember that Blagojevich is speaking for a very, very large constituency.
It's true.
In Illinois, it's becoming a discrimination because, he's just one of many.
Yeah, should be a protected class.
Well, of course. I mean, said the other way, he's ticked off. Why should he be penalized when you've got others who aren't paying the price for it? So, you got plenty of guys who are still waiting around to see if they're going to get convicted or not, and he should be able to get back in office until everybody else gets busted. He wants to be in the game.
I said earlier when Jeannie and I discussed this, think about this. We're preventing ourselves from having an Ed Verdoliak versus Rod Blagojevich gubernatorial race. And wouldn't that be fun? And it would be entertaining, and that's all we care about.
Well, that's what Illinois needs. We need those kind of leaders.
We do. That is exactly what Illinois needs for Doliak and Blagojevich. Finally, it's a win-win rather than, a choice between the lesser of two evils. That would be win-win for Illinois, Verdoliak and Blagojevich, and particularly win-win for Verdoliak and Blagojevich.
Now, it would be really interesting if a Blagojevich came out and said, "Hey, I want property tax reductions, pension reform, and we're gonna take on criminals." Then that would be interesting, right? But until that happens, let's forget it.
Well, they can say that they're going to take that on. Every politician has said they're going to take on those issues, and it never happens.
Well, what's interesting, Pritzker doesn't, right? Pritzker doesn't.
Yeah.
He actually defends what's happening now. So.
Okay.
He's a more dutiful acolyte of the public sector unions than our previous
Well, when
governor.
you have $3 billion, though, you can still tell people that you're still going to fight for them.
We love it. We love it, and we love Ted Dabrowski, president of wirepoints.org. Ted, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Join us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
The product's super. I've heard about Balance of Nature for some time, and I just thought I'd get involved. And so when I did, I started taking it, and I saw a difference. It kind of balanced out my health, if you will. So my doctor was pleased with that. He said, "What are you doing? What's going on?" And I just shared. I said, "Well, I'm taking this extra thing called Balance of Nature." And he said, "That's good. That's good." So I admonish all people that have some type of health issue, try it. It really helped my health, and I know the product works.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
It's time to get healthy, and NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. NJ Diet will help you get slimmer and healthier for the summer into the fall, since it only takes 40 days to lose 20 to 40-plus pounds. Their contractually guaranteed program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet plan and workout regimen to help you keep it off for the rest of your life. Not sure if you can do it alone? You don't have to. NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You're fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you're burning fat, not just losing water. You'll also have access to the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet is committed to you keeping the weight off. It's all natural. No shots, no hormones, and no surgery. With locations in Oak Brook and Skokie, or from home with live online video consultations. Call today, 855-5-NJ-DIET. That's 855-5-NJ-DIET. Or log on to njdiet.com. Go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy. This is